Good morning, Philippines. Good morning, world. It is a new day.
Broadcasting live from JLM Newsroom, Region 11.
This is Michelle Noor, serving you the hottest and the leading news of the hour. This is JLM News Report.
For the headlines, for the national news, Philippines seeks global support to achieve climate ambition. For the international news, President RODRIGO DUTERTE signs Paris and climate change. Philippines seeks global support to achieve climate ambition. Here's Juvie Maneja for the details.
Secretary Carlos Dominguez declared that while the Philippines is starting to take concrete actions in mitigating the ill effects of climate change without waiting for the lead financing pledges to materials, the country would still need to generate significant international support in the future behind its ambitious goal to substantially reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Secretary Dominguez headed the Philippines delegated a COP26 meeting where the country's representatives highlighted the government's efforts of addressing the climate crisis through practical projects on the ground and demanded responsibility from Western countries putting most of the greenhouse gas emissions responsible for global warming.
President RODRIGO DUTERTE signs Paris on climate change. Here's Juvie for the details.
Duterte has signed the Paris Agreement on climate change restrictions to greenhouse gas emissions, putting the deal one step closer to ratification in the country. The agreement, which came into the force on November 4, aims to transform the world's fossil fuel-driven economy within decades and slow the pace of global temperature increase to well below 2 degrees Celsius. The Manila committed to reduce its emissions by 70% by 2030, but is still technical financial support to achieve it. The ratification is expected to be completed in a Senate which dominated by the Duterte's alias and would allow the Manila access the Green Climate Funds, which aims to channel billions of dollars to help poor nations tackle the global warming.
Climate change is one of the biggest problems today. The cause of the current climate change is the increase of the concentrations of certain gases in the atmosphere. These gases are classified as greenhouse gases because they retain the Earth's heat, and although they have always been present in the atmosphere and have been essential for the development of life, the big problem is that in a short time, the balance has been broken.
You're right, partner. They must be wondering what we have done to take the planet to the situation. Humans' influence on climate began with the clearing of forests to convert them into cropland and grazing land. But it was with the Industrial Revolution that the process became worse. The start of burning of oil, coal, and natural gas increased greenhouse gas emissions. And we have Juvie Maneja is on the other line to explain this to us. Juvie?
Good morning, everyone. As per your questions, Ms. Janelle, is that when economics grow and start burning coal, burning oil, and burning gas, these start to admit more carbon into the atmosphere. The planet vegetation cannot be absorbed carbon, and carbon accumulates in the atmosphere and the earth heats up. The main gas is carbon dioxide, followed by the methane. The energy sector is mainly responsible for all emissions with more than 75% of the total. The most important emissions are due to electricity generated and road transport. Each of is around 20%. It was pronounced by the scientists for the reason the global community via Paris Climate Agreements has recognized the need to keep warming of our atmosphere below 2 degrees Celsius.
We know what you must be thinking. When can we get to work and fight against the climate change? What solution can we get?
Greenhouse gas emissions. To do this, we need to change our traditional economic model. Based on energy waste and raw materials, the Earth has ecological living, meaning that each year it gives us more than it can replenish. The main ways to combat climate change are energy saving and efficiency, the use of renewable energy, and the move towards sustainable development. Creating business opportunities and new jobs as different technological markets are generated. We must decarbonize the economy by replacing fossil fuels with clean electricity for transportations, industries, and household advance, and our technology for use renewable energy and increase electric economic developments, networks, and electrical infrastructure that eliminate CO2 emissions.
Thank you, Joby Maneha. With all being said, we must be optimistic since the world has 3 years with economic growth of 2% without the emissions of greenhouse gases having increased. Also, the European Union has managed to reduce them by about 4%. But it is not only industry, agriculture, transport, traffic are called to fight against climate change.
Exactly. Because what we do in our day-to-day life is essential in the struggle every decision we make influences. How? Turning on less lights and using energy-saving light bulbs, putting the washing machine in dishwasher on full load, trying not to waste water, and of course, not to abuse the air conditioning devices. A temperature of 20 degrees in winter and 20 degrees in summer is more than enough to live comfortably.
Or what to wear are also decisions that influence climate change. According to Greenpeace, every kilo of beef we consume means an emission of 13 kilos of CO2, while the textile industry is responsible for 10% of CO2 emissions. Fighting against climate change depends ultimately on the daily decisions of each of us. From the outset, we recommend to apply with more determination the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle.
And finally, we leave you with, Earth is not an inheritance of our parents, but a loan of our children. This is Michelle Naol.
This is Rizal Godin. And this is JLM News Report. Goodbye and God bless everyone.
God bless everyone.